So when you first get to the house, the first thing that's really important is that you ask about the mom. How are you feeling? How was your labor? How was the delivery? And it's always going to be, usually it's going to be fairly detailed because moms tend to like to have they tend to like to talk about their labor and how long they were in labor and all that kind of stuff. So you will hear all about the mom. And it's very indicative to why you're there. They could have had a horrible delivery, or they could have had, super delivery. A mom I spoke to just the other day was the mom that, I don't know if you heard about this, but she lives in North Attleboro. She's a new client of mine, and she had her twin babies at home in the back room by herself. Dad wasn't home. And she delivered him by herself, 29 weeks. She had no idea what was going on until suddenly she had a baby. So it's interesting. It's interesting to hear about, different people's stories, and it sort of starts to form the relationship you have with this mom. About what she's all about. You really learn a lot about that. Ask them when they came home. Ask about the baby. How's the baby doing? APGAR scores are the evaluation of the baby as soon as the baby is born. It's going to give you numbers of how his
APGAR score?
APGAR, APGAR. It is about his blood level, his oxygen level, his color, his responsive, how responsive he is, and they all get a number. And then,
I'll send more details about this.
Yes, yeah, number 9 is most babies have 9 APGAR scores. If it's a sick baby, it's just an indication from them as to, what help over on this other side of the room where you're having the baby is where the monitors are, where the bassinet is, where the baby's going to go as soon as the baby's born. They kind of have to know what to say to those nurses who's going to take care of that, what to look for. Try to get the name of the baby. We talked about that. The name of the parents also prior to you getting there. It's in your phone. Get the name of the baby. You've taken care of hundreds of babies. A baby's a baby to you, but not to these people. It's their baby, and you need to know that baby's name. Was it on time? Was it early? Is it a preemie? How much of a preemie is it? Were they in the NICU? Questions like that. You have to kind of know. And what you'll learn by going through this course, you'll learn if the baby's born at 29 weeks, it will have been the NICU. You'll learn what happens in the NICU. You'll learn if the baby's born term, if the baby was, had any kind of stress when the baby was born. It'll just help you. Because this is where you start forming the confidence that the mother will have with you. Oh, okay, 29 weeks, were they in the NICU? And she's going to be like, yes, they were. Oh my gosh, you're so smart, because you know just exactly what happened to my baby. But it happens to every baby that's born at 29 weeks. But they're just going to be happy to know you're on the ball. You so know what's going on in my life, because it's happened probably about 100 other times for you, but not for them. How are they feeding? How are they sleeping? How are you eating? How are you, asking kinds of questions. You want the mother to feel comfortable that you care about her. You want the mother to feel comfortable that you know what to do with this baby. So you have to ask the right questions. You want to also find out from them, where are they sleeping? What works best? Where are we going to be stationed for the night? Most times, as we said before, the mom doesn't have any idea. Up in their room, sleeping, there's a chair up there. If you'd like to sleep, there's a bed next door. I want to talk about monitors and that kind of stuff. So, you just want to kind of get the lay of the land. Where am I going? What am I doing? Where are you going to be? Where's your room where I'm going to be? Figure out what's going to happen. Where are you going to go? Okay. Don't ring the doorbell. Make sure you take your shoes off. Have their phone number in your phone. You're going to be approaching someone's house, and it's 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. You've never been there before. You know what it might be like to get to your house because you've been there a million times, but if someone else is coming, you forget to tell them, there's like a weird little driveway in front of my house, or there's no doorbell. I haven't had a doorbell in 17 years I've lived in my house. I forget to tell people that. What color is my house? My house changed color. I'm still telling people it's gray, it's now yellow. So have the phone number in your phone so you can call them as you're approaching their house. As soon as you get in there, ask the mom how the day went. What happened? How did it go today? Usually they're exhausted and so happy to see you. But as you're getting yourself comfortable, you're washing your hands, you're throwing the paper towel away in the garbage, you're kind of opening up the refrigerator, looking to see what she's done in the night, how things have gone, did she pump during the day, do you have everything in the refrigerator? It'll help you kind of say, okay, there's no milk in the refrigerator, so clearly we're getting up to nurse tonight because there's nothing in the refrigerator. You're just kind of helping the mother because she's overwhelmed, she's exhausted, she's overtired, she needs your help. You're there, you have to kind of help her. By seeing the big picture of what's happening in the house and what's happened all day, you'll be able to help her. So she doesn't have to be completely in charge of what to tell you. She doesn't want that. If she wanted that, she wouldn't be hiring you. She would be hiring some other lady that's just going to show up at their house to make sure that the baby eats in the middle of the night. That's it. You're there to help her, to train her, to teach her, to get this baby to sleep, not to cry too much so she can get some sleep. So there's more to your job than to just anybody that's going to show up at their house. Starting the log, we will talk about that next, and you got to find out who's at the house. So many times I've been at someone's house and I've been in the living room and it's just me and the baby and the food and the bottles and everything, and then the garage door opens and some man walks in and it's her father or her brother, or the basement door opens and it's the mother who lives down there, and it's kind of scary. So you have to find out, like, who's home, what's going on, where's your bedroom, where do I go in the night, where is everyone? You've never been there, it's dark, you're new. You know what to do with a baby, but it's somebody else's house. They might not remember to tell you. You don't need a big tour of the home. You need to know where their bedroom is, where the baby's room is, so if you need extra supplies, where the refrigerator is, and try to remember to ask sometimes where the bathroom is, because I forget to ask that question sometimes, and I'm opening doors, and this is another thing that's important. All of our families have alarms. I went downstairs at a family's house to do laundry into the basement, and the basement door triggered the alarm, and there was like 35 policemen outside their house at 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know that because there's an entrance into the garage at night, and I triggered the alarm. They forgot to tell me that. Ask about the alarm, if there is one. They will most likely try to remember to tell you some of these things, but it's also nice for you to also ask. So here's the log.
We're going to do a practice log.
Yeah.
Logging. Awesome.
So this log, I make this log from time to time. This is important that I bring this to someone's house when I first get there. It's important that people log at night, during the day, because you won't know what to do at night if you don't know what they've done all day. Just in the beginning, it's important to have all of those phone numbers. Now, as we've said before, this is a nighttime job for the most part, but not always. You need to have them fill out that form. Now, here's one little flaw in this system. This log is only going to last a certain amount of time. All that information in the first part of that log, rip it out and put it in on the refrigerator door somewhere, so they don't have to complete that first form about mom's cell, dad's cell, mom's work, dad's work, all that stuff. You want to just make sure that you've got all that information that you need, when you first get there. Anything else down at the bottom, depending on the baby, there might be other stuff that you need to know. Allergies, unlikely anybody has determined that they've got an allergy at day one, but, you might have to put something down there. The mother might be allergic to peanuts, which is important to know. It might trigger her to write down that she's important to peanuts, which means what to you guys? Never bring anything into the house that has peanuts in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that might just trigger something like that. So, but there's this one flaw to this, because we can't put this book big enough for a year, because it's too much.
Can we grab the other two then?
So what I do a lot of times is, and I can email you the actual log itself. Now, that first page of that log, that is good for one day, and then obviously the next day. However, it's also good to be set up like this if you have twins. So the first, Alex and James, you know, that's the first person, and it's just one day. So it's the, you know, the newborn, you know, you sign in your name when you sign in at 10 o'clock. Maybe you're there at 9, maybe you're there at 8, whatever. Write this in. It's like a time card. You put in when you come in, you put in when you leave, and the date. One thing I'll say about coming and going: if your shift is 10 to 6, and you leave at 6:15, it's just know that if you leave at 6:15 one day, another day you're going to leave at 5:45. Don't nickel and dime these people. Don't charge them for 15 minutes that you're there, because there's going to be another time that you're 15 minutes late, which it happens, but you really don't want to be late. But I'm just saying, as far as, it'll work itself out. Parents will get a little bit irritated. No one wants to feel taken advantage of. You don't want to feel taken advantage of, because that's not a good feeling. They don't want to be taken advantage of. So what this log means is you put down the time. Number 1, you put down the time, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Right or left, that means that the mom has nursed. Right side 20 minutes, left side 20 minutes. So I just write R-20, L-20. There's a time that you'll use the minutes that don't have anything to do with nursing, so that's why that column is there. So you can just sort of, you know, ballpark in that space how much time it took. Now this is important information. How long did she nurse on the first side? How long did she nurse on the second side? This information is not only important for them right now tonight, but this is important when they bring this with them to the doctor's office, when they're finding that their baby is, you know, not gaining as much as they're supposed to, and the doctor's going to say, well, how come you're only feeding on 8 minutes on the left side and 6 minutes on the first side? You know, your baby might be, you know, delatching themselves, but that's not enough. That's the reason why. So you want to just put down which one was first and which one was second. The reason why we have to know which one was first and which one was second, so you're going to put down R-20, L-15. The next time you might feed that baby, you're going to put down what's going to go first. R means right, L means left. The next time, mothers always have to nurse from the opposite side the second time. The baby gets the most out of the breast when they first start eating because they're so vigorously hungry. So they suck more vigorously on the right side when they first start. The next time you feed them, in order to maintain the milk production, they have to nurse on the left side the second time. So as you're through the night with a mom, you look on the log. You fed on the right and then the left. You did the right for 20 minutes, the left for 15 minutes. You don't have to know the amount because you don't know the amount. All you know is the time. That's all you can do for breast milk, and that's the biggest, most anxious part for the moms. They don't know what they're getting or how much they're getting. So they're so thrilled when the baby spits up a little bit because actually something was going in them. They don't know that. This feed, you can obviously know that, again, B and F, that stands for breast milk or formula. That only would make sense when? If you were feeding them a bottle. So right now, not a category we need to worry about right now. When you changed their diaper, were they wet? Did they have a bowel movement? Or you can have another column. And that other column could be, didn't burp, really fussy, huge poop, whatever. So what this is indicating to you is this mom at 10 o'clock, she nursed from the right side for 20 minutes and the left side for 15 minutes.
BM stands for? Huh? What's that BM stands for?
Bowel movement.
Oh, bowel
Breast-
movement.
oh.
Bowel movement is poop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If you, it would be like a key would be so. Like
Okay,
that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This
I
is
used to
awesome.
have a
though.
key. I used to have a key.
So bowel movement.
So bowel movement, and then other. Okay, so the next time, at the second time something happens to this baby. The second thing that's going to happen to this baby is, see how there's a column underneath with nothing in it?
Mhm.
It's blank. That's gonna tell you that I write, this is what I write with this. I will write at 11:30, sleep. Baby went to sleep at 11:30.
Okay. So you always use the second column as a sleep column?
Is a sleep column.
Nice. Okay.
Number 2, it's the second time you're gonna feed the baby. That will also indicate when the baby woke up. Because that's what you do when a baby wakes up when they're newborns. They eat. So you're gonna put down 1 o'clock. No, not 10 o'clock, 10, 11, 30, 12, say 12 o'clock. 12:30, say. What side are you gonna tell the mom that she needs to nurse from this time?
Left.
Left. And that's because the baby, as I said, sucks so vigorously and it stimulates the breast more. The letdown will happen, which is something you'll learn in this next session. It's the sensation that you're getting from the milks being produced or released from the milk ducts. And it's this sensation and tingly feeling that you'll feel.
Letdown?
It's called letdown, and that we learn that in the next session. If you always feed from the right side first, that side is going to produce more milk than the left side, because you're not stimulating the left side as much as the right. So this time you're going to write down left, however many minutes the mom feeds that baby on the left, say 15. So if you know the lights go crazy in the building next door.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, they just turned on. And then the right time, say 20 minutes. We don't not need to use the amount column. We don't need to use the BF column, that's breast or formula.
You said breast.
Maybe that baby's wet, maybe there was no bowel movement at that time. The next column is the baby goes to sleep again. So say that this is a newborn baby, remember. All they do is eat and sleep. This log, because it's small like this log is not going to be appropriate for a 6-month-old baby. You're going to still need this information for a 6-month-old baby, but a 6-month-old baby has to have awake time, tummy time, a lot of other categories on this. So this is just for, what we're here for is for a newborn baby that sleeps and eats and poops. Pretty much that's it. That's why this is good for the beginning. I have another log that you can use as you move forward, and we can talk about that. I can bring a copy of that as well. That's got less categories, but more room for the other activities that the baby will be doing. Now let's say that the next time this baby eats, the baby has a bottle. So you want to say 4 o'clock. You're not going to put anything down for the right or the left because you're not nursing. But you still need to know the next time if that baby is going to have a breastfeed. What are you going to tell the mother she needs to, which side are you going to tell the mother that she needs to offer to the baby the next time?
Right.
So you always have to come, you know, are you guys familiar with sports? A referee always has to have the, you know, he puts the rubber band on this side depending on who needs to go out and who needs to, you know, it's kind of the same thing. Mother doesn't have to worry about it. You're there, you're writing it down. She sees you write it down, she's gonna write it down all day. Because then she's gonna forget that she has to keep anything in her head. Everything's gonna be in this. This is gonna be a gospel to her. She's gonna bring it with her everywhere she goes. Everything's gonna be written in this. So now at 4 o'clock, the baby has to have a bottle. Now, we've looked up above, 20 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other side, 15 minutes and 20 minutes. Does that give you any indications to how much this baby can eat? Not really. So what we need to know from that is when the baby leaves the hospital, the nurses are going to say, this is an 8-pound baby, he will probably eat about 3 ounces. In this next time we talk about feeding, we're going to talk about amounts, cc's, ml's, ounces, kind of all depends. If you're talking to a medical doctor, they're going to be talking about ml's and cc's. If you're talking to a person that's not a medical person, they're going to be talking about ounces. So you speak in the language that they want to talk in. Speak in. So now you want to write down that first category, minutes. We're going to figure out how long is this baby's gonna take to eat. But we don't know the answer to that yet until the baby finishes. So you're gonna give that baby 3 ounces. So you're gonna put 3 ounces here. Or I
For
think
number
that would
4?
be,
Sorry.
yeah, for number 4.
Okay.
What's in that bottle? Is it breast milk or is it formula?
So now you can put the B or the
You
F
put
there.
the B or the F there. So maybe you put down it's breast milk. I'm right here. So at 4 o'clock,
Amount.
the amount, 3
okay.
ounces. Now here's a little bit of a tricky thing.
No, this was in
Yeah, the 3 ounces.
Right.
Yep.
Now,
yeah.
we wanna
That
say,
is like so ugly and messy. So 3 ounces.
but you know what,
breast
and
milk.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna look really ugly and messy, and parents are gonna just write things all over the place.
Was it in the third one?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay. Well, I'll just scratch out mine so that and then I'll
Oh,
put
yeah.
3. Sorry, you did it right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's important, well, I'll show you what's gonna be important when we're done with this day. So, and of course, this is the middle of the night. So at 3, the baby had 3 ounces. You're gonna say the baby had breast milk. Baby had a wet diaper, baby had a BM, that was that. Now, you go through this night, and then you go through the day. As a newborn care specialist, we're almost at 6 o'clock in the morning, we're at 4 o'clock in the morning. Baby's gonna probably go back to sleep. One thing we have to put down here is how long did it take that baby to eat 3 ounces? It's important to know how long it takes them to eat this. Because as you move forward, that baby's on a newborn nipple, and then it's on a number 1 slow nipple, which I'll show you how to know the number, how you determine which number it is. Do you guys know where the number is on the
You
bottom?
can see in the nipple, no?
It is on the bottom of the nipple, yes. So let's say that this baby, it took this baby 40 minutes. Now, all this information doesn't look
Right.
like,
So is that the other column?
no,
The
it's in the
40
minutes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so here now you do the
Right.
minutes. Okay. So bottle feeding like makes you whenever you start bottle feeding you have to put the minutes and then you can also now start putting breast milk or formula.
Yes, now
Okay.
you can put all this information down there, and the mom is going to determine, I don't care about the minutes. All I care about is what they ate, how much they ate, and what happened in their diaper. Did they poop or did they pee? Some mothers might wanna know how long did it take that, because they might have some feeding issues. They might be what babies are referred to in the hospital as dopey eaters. When they're really little, they're dopey eaters. They're not very good at it. They've never done it before. It's hard. It's really hard. Remember back in your mind when you tried to drink that McDonald's milkshake. And it's so thick and it's so hard and your mouth hurts. It's exhausting. It's tiring. That's what they're going through. It's not easy to get milk out of a breast. It's much easier to get milk out of a bottle. So, it's just
How long
important.
it takes her to latch on to the moms? Right away, or when they born?
As soon as the baby's born, it kind of depends on the circumstances in the hospital.
Okay.
But as soon as the baby's born, they will give you the baby. Again, maybe they'll hand him to you right away. Maybe they'll clean him up a little bit and hand him to you. You will start nursing that baby within the hour.
Okay.
And the baby knows, it's a reflex. The baby knows to suck right from the beginning.
Okay.
And they will, but the mom will be unfamiliar, won't be sure. The nurse will help you. Your breasts are not normal size at that point. They're a little bit engorged. They're not engorged because you have milk. They're just, you've just gone through a lot of trauma. So the baby will, it's just not as easy. It's not going to be, it's not familiar.
Yeah.
So the baby will start to nurse right away, and that's when it starts to stimulate the breasts to get that colostrum, which is that sticky substance that's full of all the nutrients that the baby needs from the very beginning. That's the beginning of breast milk. That's one of the first forms of breast milk. They're going to get that within the first couple of days. It's not the same consistency as regular milk, but they're going to get that right away. So they will start sucking right away.
Okay.
So some babies latch on really easily, sometimes won't. We talk about the mother's nipples might not be perfect, the baby might not They might have a little bit of issues with their mouth. The NICU nurse or the delivery room nurse will be able to look at your breast to decide what's going on. They'll look at the baby's mouth, they'll look to see how they're latching, they'll help you where you hold it, which direction you hold it in, so you'll be able to, it'll be the best way for you to get the baby to successfully nurse.
Okay.
So you'll do all of that, and then it's 4 o'clock. Now you leave at 6 o'clock in the morning for the most part. So you fed the baby at 4 o'clock. You know, the baby's been eating every 2.5 hours. So you'll have the baby kind of all ready. You've already changed the diaper, you fed the baby, you've burped the baby, you're gonna put the baby back to bed now. Maybe it's about, so it's probably around 5 o'clock at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty much good to go. Put the baby back to bed, they've eaten, they've pooped, they've been cleaned up, they've burped, you put them back down to sleep, then you make sure that the bottles are done, the laundry's put away, that the everything's been sterilized, the room's picked up, the nursery's restocked, and then you've already determined what your exit plan is. Did you bring the monitor to the mom in the middle at 6? Did you say goodbye to her? Does she come down to help you? You know, to say goodbye? Did she find out about the morning? You'll learn about each mom. Sometimes they come into you at 5:45. How did things go? What happened? How was the night? Sometimes you don't talk to them again until you go the next time. You just put the monitor in the room and you shut the door. It kind of all depends. You'll learn. Each person is different, and each person will look to you for process, but they'll also want to dictate what they want to happen. So you fill this at log out, she fills that log out during the day, and what you'll get from this is you'll be able to determine ballpark how much that baby's eating every day, how often that baby has pooped. Are you getting 6 wet diapers a day? Are you using enough diapers during the day? Are you indicating in the other column that there might be a diaper rash, there might be fussy, they might be gassy, they might cry a lot. There's a lot of ways that you can work this to whatever information you want to capture. One of the things that's important that you fill this out from the very beginning, and if you determine that there's some trend, baby cries a lot, the baby doesn't go back down very easily, takes a really long time to eat, all this has to be noted, and the mom goes to the pediatrician with this information. The first visit, 2 weeks, the first visit, 4 weeks, the second visit. They're going to say, well, what's going on? A lot of mothers will say, my baby's colicky because she cries. And all that might mean, this is what they'll do. They'll take that log, and they will tell you, please indicate on this log how often your baby cries. And so maybe in that second column where I put sleep, they might want you to put down crying. So you write all this down when they cry. You go back to the pediatrician. They're going to highlight all those areas that the babies are crying. And then they're going to take these pages all over the place, rip these pages out, put them all over the floor, and they're going to say, how much highlighted yellow crying time do you actually see? And the mother's going to say, 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's not a colicky baby. A colicky baby cries 7 hours a day. So it's just to help the mom understand really what's happening. Because you guys know 5 minutes of crying seems like hours, and it's awful. So you can use this any way you want. With twins, like I said, this is one twin, this is the second twin. For the most part, as you get to that family's house, you are going to be feeding those babies at the same time because you want to keep them on the same schedule. A mom might say to you, oh, please stagger their feeding because I really can't handle both at the same time. But what will happen is that mom will be feeding baby 1 from 10 to 10:40, baby 2 from 10:45 to 11:15, and then baby 1 has to start feeding again, and the mom will soon, her mental state will soon deteriorate because all she's doing is feeding this baby, feeding a baby all the time. Get them on the same schedule, help her do that. And we can talk about multiples when we get to that section. We can talk about sort of how you can do that at the same time. So it's important to keep track of what you did for 2 reasons. 1, because the mother wants to know what the baby did during the night. And 2, so we can have a running log of what the baby does over a period of time. This is one log you can use. I also will bring a second log the next time, and it's much simpler. It's half the size. Do you know what a stenographer's notebook is?
No.
A stenographer's note is this. This is all this is. And all that will be in this log is
Oh yeah.
time, feed, diaper.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And you write down 10 o'clock, 4 ounces, poop. 2 o'clock, 3 ounces, pee. And that's all the mother wants. And you can write down when they cry, but this is much more friendly to adding different columns, but it's very basic. It's not right or left or what you had or what you didn't have, because you can also fill it in on this too. I do have those also. I let parents decide which ones they prefer, whether it be this more extensive or this, each page. Parents can also decide, I like for this to be one whole day. Some parents like to, if the day stops here, they like to put the date over here where they start the next day. That's fine. They get to determine however they want to use this. I always feel like they're paying you a fairly good salary. I like to bring these things to them. I don't want to make them come up with their own, with their own tools. I like to come prepared, and this helps you come prepared, and moms are happy that you come with this. And what we always suggest is just take a photocopy of this, and then moms can start putting them in a 3-ring binder, and they can just take copies of these pages and they just flip it in a binder. Because this, we don't know how long we're gonna be there. We don't know how long we're gonna do this. And nothing pains me more than when I first meet a family and I bring this binder, this thing, because this isn't free, I mean, it's, I give that to them, but it costs money, to make this, and then they don't use it. It makes me so sad, and I think, I'm bad, and I can't really ask for it back.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How, in terms of amounts, how, am I very messy? No, but I have like the messiest. What is the amount typically within like a session of breastfeeding? Is there like, would you prescribe is there like an average or depending on the baby?
It is determined that if a baby eats about 3 ounces when they have a bottle, they have probably around 3 ounces when they nurse.
Okay.
Their stomach is about the size of a walnut, and so whatever they can get in the beginning, so they're taking the 3 ounces that you're giving them because you're offering it to them, and you see how much they finish. When a baby finishes the bottle and they suck it dry, and you can hear that little noise that that it's done, because generally it's dark and you can't really see that much, that's how much they're finishing. It's the same thing, sorry, can I just, this person keeps trying to call me, can I just, no, it's fine. Okay. So, generally speaking, what they take in a bottle is how much they can take, how much they're taking when they're nursing. And you increase how much they take based on how much they finish that bottle. And if they suck it dry and they're not settled, they need a little bit more. So if you offer them 2 ounces, once they have 2 ounces, they're fine with their 2 ounces, they go right back to sleep. Babies grow, they have to have more. Suddenly they're sucking that 2 ounces dry, you're gonna give them 2.5 ounces. They're gonna finish that 2.5 ounces, and then they're gonna, move forward, they're gonna have 3, 4, and each time add a little bit more. So if you're making a bottle, you put in 2.5 ounces. It's always a little bit of a trick, but when you're not positive that they're gonna you don't wanna give them 3 ounces in a bottle if you're not sure if they're gonna take those 3 ounces. Because what happens to that other ounce if they don't take? You have to throw it away. And moms don't want you to throw away their breast milk.
Oh my gosh.
It's so upset.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put in 2 ounces, and then you have a separate bottle with an ounce in it. And you bring that with you, and if you see that they're really ready to take it, kind of pour a little bit in, you're a little bit of a scientist, trying to give that to them, because you can't offer them a 3-ounce bottle and they only take 2.5 ounces, and then you have to throw the rest of it away, and moms are upset about that.
I
So-
remember seeing like extra bottles, like here's for your extras if you feel like the baby's more hungry,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. Now, one other thing I will tell you about this log, sometimes babies will have breast milk fortified with formula.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So in that breast milk column, you would just put breast milk plus formula. You know, either however they want you to put it. You can put B, you know, plus F. They're gonna know what that means.
Is it true that the formula makes them sleep through the night?
Formula
or-
is heavier and it will sustain them longer. Breast milk is easier for them to digest and they become hungrier quicker. So yes, and I always like to say to moms who's, you know, because there will be a period of time that the baby drinks, eats every 2 hours. Takes 45 minutes for a baby to feed, takes them 15 to 20 minutes to get them back to sleep again, and they eat every 20 minutes. You know what that translates to? 25 minutes of a break between when you have to start feeding them again. And so I encourage moms sometimes that perhaps maybe you should talk to your pediatrician. Maybe you might want to give him a bottle. Parents are afraid to give a baby formula. Well, there's a lot of reasons why parents feed their babies breast milk. They want the baby to have only breast milk because it's important for them for the nutrition. Some moms feel like if I start giving them formula, then I'm afraid that I'm not going to feed them anymore because it's easier. So feel out the mom as to what she might want to do. Moms never want to feel like they're not adequately feeding their baby. And moms sometimes will feel really inadequate, really bad, really sad if they have to resort to formula. It's sometimes really, really important to moms to never have to give their baby formula. Some moms never want to feed their baby once. I nursed my first son for 6 months, my daughter for 1 day, and my third son for over a year. I was overwhelmed with my second child. I was overwhelmed. I had one, I was working, I just moved. She was 3 weeks late. I was induced twice with her. Another story. I came home from the hospital and I thought to myself, oh my God, I can feed this baby a bottle of formula. It was like I could breathe. I was overwhelmed. So that's why
because it's like you have to pump and it's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work. But you're there to help and support her. And it's only a lot of work and overwhelming in the beginning, and then it's second nature. But you know what it's like to start something new. It's like a new job. Like you don't know where to put the pen, you don't know where to put the paper, you don't know, it feels weird, everything feels odd, and you just want to kind of go back to what's comfortable. Just pressure through, and you'll feel good. And it will be easy for them, it will be easy for them to help them. So,
Do you want to,
I think we can go to the holding, feeling, swaddling. Yeah, I think we can go to down here now.
yeah, so, let me just make sure, because, we talked about this.
Okay, this is important. When you go to someone's house, it's really important for you to know that you're there to take care of the baby. It's not there for you to be comfortable. Like I said before, I'm dressed like this for a reason. I wear something with pockets, I wear something warm, I don't wear jeans, I don't wear sweatpants, I don't wear pajama pants. You're a professional, you're getting paid more than other people are getting. I wear like black, I always wear black pants, I always wear tight black pants. And the reason why I wear tight black pants, not like skin tight, but I wear tight black pants because you're moving around, you're scooching around, you're inching around, and if you have like big baggy pants on, your pants get stuck on things. You know what I mean? You just can't like scoot around easily. If you have something that's like really stuck to, it's much easier than like loose pajama pants. So do whatever you're comfortable in, but make sure that you want to look like you have clothes on. You want to look like you have as close to as, you know, you're going to be lounging around, so you don't want to wear anything constricting, but you want to look professional. Any kind of like yoga pants is usually something easy. Something with pockets is also something that's important. You want to determine right from the beginning, is it okay if you have nothing to do, can you close your eyes? Some mothers want you to stare at the baby all night. and that's what they want you to do. And so that's what you do. For the most part, parents don't want you to. Ask if it's okay for you to nap. You cannot start snoring and drooling and, you know, be in a big sleep. But you can close your eyes and have the monitor with you, or you're right in the room with the baby. You never want to get into such a sleep that the mother has to wake you up because the baby's crying. That's horrifying.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
I think in the 15 years I've done this, I think I've had to be woken up like 4 times, but it's always been the first thing in the morning. That 5 to 6, you've got nothing to do. You've really done. You're tired. The baby's fed. The baby's put back to sleep. The baby's asleep. You're almost ready to go. It's like 6 o'clock, and the mother comes down to let you out, and that's when I'm asleep.
Okay, you have to go.
And I'm pretty horrified by that, but sometimes that'll happen. Television. I am not in the practice of ever watching television at someone's house. I feel like that's not what I'm there for. I feel like I have my smartphone, I bring my laptop, I will read a magazine, I will have enough work to do. You don't want to walk in there and say, all right, so where am I sleeping? Can I have a blanket? I'd like to have a pillow. Can I watch television? Where's the heat? Can I have some water? You don't want to do that. You want to walk in there and have them be like, oh, no problem, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. But you do want to kind of find out, do you have a problem if I do doze a little bit? Are you okay with that? If they say no, then that's the answer. If they say yes, then that's the answer. You go along with whatever they say. Find out if they have a monitor. 2 things about a monitor. Do you have the monitor with you, and is the baby in a different room? Or does the parents have the monitor in their room, and they're monitoring what the baby's doing, and you're there too?
Their
If
phones,
that's,
no?
many families can have, on their iPhones, they can have, but you know that they have that. You can tell. This isn't about them watching you, it's about them watching the baby. Everyone, it's perfectly fine for you to be monitored. I have never thought about a baby monitor, or what do you call it, a nanny cam. I've never thought about that. I don't really care if I have a nanny cam. I'm never doing anything that I would care that anyone watches. So I don't ever ask, because I don't care. There might be a couple of times that you might want to, like, I don't know, fix your bra, or, you know,
Yeah.
pick your nose, whatever. Stuff like that, just be a little bit careful about that. But as far as anything else, as far as the job is concerned, I don't think you need to worry about that, because if you need to worry about not having them watch you do something that you shouldn't be doing, then I don't want you there.
Yeah.
If you have to go clean the bottles, do the laundry, you have to make sure that you say to them, I will leave the baby by myself, I will bring the monitor with me, I will put the monitor in the hallway so you can hear it if I have to leave the apartment to do the laundry. Make sure you say to them, I'm in charge of the baby, but when I have to do something that is going to take me away from this baby, how do you want me to handle that? They will usually say to you, put the monitor in the hallway, open my door. Bring the monitor with you, it's fine wherever you go. You know, you just have to understand it's your responsibility with that baby in the night, so you have to also let them know, okay, fine, but I can't be 2 places. They just might not think of that. Again, do I have to stay up? Do I have to stay awake? And what do you want? What is important for them in the morning? I've had mothers that say, no matter what you do, I don't really care. Just make sure at 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't have to feed that baby. I have other kids I have to get up. I have my husband has to get someplace. I want to take a shower. If the most important thing to that mom is that baby is asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning, that figure out that night so that baby is asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. Do your best. We can't control when babies cry. But if we can try to control when the baby eats, so we can make sure that that baby is asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning, do your best to try to accommodate her wishes. If she's totally cool, bring the baby to me at 5:45, because he probably misses me and he wants me to, you know, to nurse and snuggle with the baby. Then that's what you do. You figure out what they want you to do at 6. They might say, well, what do you do, and what should I do, and what should we expect, and like, what do we do? And you'll be able to say to them, you know, this is what I've done at other places. I bring the baby to you at 6, or I can make sure that they're asleep, or I can put the monitor inside your door, or I can bring the baby inside your room, I can wheel the baby down the hall, I can open the door. There's a million things you can do. No one lives in a house big enough that a baby in the room with a monitor isn't gonna be perfectly fine. So you just have to figure out what they want you to do. Sometimes babies are sick, that changes everything. If the baby's perfectly fine the first week you come and then they suddenly get a cold or something's happening, plans change. Plans change every day when you're at someone's house, no matter what. Because the babies grow, parents get more comfortable, they get stronger, everything changes. You just kind of have to go with it every single time. As soon as the baby establishes a pattern, it's going to grow, it's going to change. It's going to take more, it's going to sleep longer, it's going to develop a little bit of tummy issues, everything changes. So there's a lot of things that we have to do and a lot of them over there on that table. So why don't we go?
Move over down there?
Yeah.
So when we're wrapped up with that, we're gonna come back and do the scenarios, and then we'll just wrap up with the next class, like what's happening with the next class. Okay? Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
This is
Give me a second too. Ooh, batteries are, wow, this thing needs batteries.